Anything I can lug for you?
Who's there?
I don't think we're alone.
Nothing there now.
Nice.
Good to keep going? I don't sleep or eat or anything like that. But if you need to, you do it.
What? I swear I must be going crazy. Here's it.
Nothing out there.
Ah! Bounce!
That's a great one, isn't it? Orange-Colored Sky by Nat King Cole. Folks, I'd like to take a moment for something a little more personal than usual. As I'm sure you know all too well, I haven't always been the best at this job. Hey, let's face it, I've been pretty terrible. Thanks to the efforts of a few of my friends,
Commonwealth's a dangerous
decided to
place.
change how I
Lucky
look at
you're
things,
near the great green
how I live my
jewel.
life. I'd like to just take this opportunity to thank the Vault Dweller for lending me a hand. I really do appreciate it. All right, folks. That's enough sentiment from me for one day. Let's get it on back to the music, shall we? Here are the Ink Spots with their take on being in love.
Head on inside.
Read the paper, mister. Trust me.
Who needs a haircut? Everyone needs a haircut.
Hey,
Step up.
I'm listening. Take a look.
You keep that synth freak at arm's length. You understand me?
We can talk about guns, or maybe you want to consider...
sure. Let's take a look.
Don't forget to stock up on ammo.
Hey,
I'm all ears.
work to eat. It's as simple as that.
Can't remember the last time I had clean fingernails.
Yes?
Got work to do. Can't talk now.
Hey.
Go on. Wondered what you'd look like as a robot. Not too shabby.
Ella Fitzgerald, folks. You folks out there listening to Diamond City Radio have always enjoyed the radio plays, right? The ones about the dreaded Silver Shroud. We've had them in rotation for a while now, and they're a fun little adventure. Only now it seems the adventure has become real. That's right, folks. The Commonwealth now has its very own superhero in the form of the Silver Shroud. Or at least, someone dressing up like him. Crime in Goodneighbor has a new enemy, it seems. Why would someone don that costume? I guess it's probably better, in fact. Goodneighbor resident Kent Connolly swears that he was actually rescued by this Tommy gun-toting hero. So I guess if you're out there and thinking about breaking the law, you might want to consider steering clear of Goodneighbor. Or else the Shroud might come after you. Next up is Cole Porter with Anything Goes. Maybe not the best way to live your life, but you get the idea.
Got it. That's it.
expect tourism has dried up substantially.
Kid, I don't know who you are, but you better clear out before I go haywire and blast you.
Whoa. Slow down. I just want to talk.
Right. You just strolled in out of the Commonwealth looking for synths to talk to.
Calm down. Tell me what's going on.
They've got something they use to control us, to make us do things we don't want to do. Any second now, they might send some signal, or I'll see the color orange, or whatever it is they do, and boom, one more dead fool. Now, are you gonna get out of here, or wait for them to make me kill you?
We're just talking, so why don't you just ease off the trigger there?
Fine, but don't think this means you're welcome here. Got your looky-loo at the synth? Ready to get out of here before they make me hurt you?
There's gotta be more to this. What happened to make you think you're a synth?
Look, you're taking a risk staying here to talk to me. But if that's what it'll take to get you to leave, my grandson Samuel and I were on our own since my daughter died. I managed to get us in on a farm. Hard on these old bones, but it kept us fed. I was on watch one night. I'm sitting there with a gun across my knees, looking out over the hill, and I think I fell asleep. It's just blank. The next thing I remember is the sound of a gunshot shaking me out of it, and Samuel is at my feet, and there's blood everywhere.
Was there anyone else there? Could it have been raiders?
No. When they heard the shot, everyone came running out. But no one saw anyone else but me and Samuel. One moment he was there, and then the next, just gone. Those little fingers that used to hold my hand. And it's all my fault. You can't imagine what that's like.
I saw my wife killed, my son taken, and was powerless to stop it. I understand how you feel.
I didn't... I hope you find him. Family is the only thing worth a damn in this world. But I guess he wasn't really my grandson. They must have just given me those memories. 'Cause who could have done that to their own flesh and blood? Now you know why I'm here, and why you need to leave before they make me kill again. I'm a synth, and I can't be trusted.
Maybe you are a synth. That doesn't mean you can't change.
Don't you get it, kid? I'm too dangerous. I'll just end up hurting someone else.
We need good people for the Minutemen. It won't change the past, but maybe you can help some people.
You'd still ask for my help,
by Johnny Mercer.
knowing what I've done? I don't know. Let me think about it. Look, I'm sorry I drew my weapon on you, kid. I
Yet
think you're
another
right.
breaking story here in
I gotta
Diamond
find a
City,
way to make
folks.
peace with
I'll
what
bring
happened,
you up to speed.
and I can't keep running from it.
Diamond City's own Nick Valentine is reportedly investigating the circumstances surrounding former residents of the West Stands. The man in question, residing with a boy he claimed to be his son,
Heads up.
hasn't been
Go ahead.
seen in weeks.
Nick,
Now it
Hey,
seems the
let
whole
me ask you
story
something.
may have been fabricated.
Sure,
It's unclear
ask
at
away.
this time
It's
if
just,
the boy was being
with
held
everything
against
that's
his
happened
will.
with you and your
Authorities
family,
so far
it's a whole hell of a lot to
refused
process.
comment.
I wanted to make sure you're holding up all
Should
right.
you happen to spot the man, and believe me, you'd recognize him, don't hesitate to get word to Nick Valentine.
Yeah,
Keep that
I'm all right.
Huh.
Diamond City
You're a
Radio
tougher
for
nut than I
updates
thought.
on this
Tougher
great
than I
story.
was. Took me a long
Here's
damn
your
time to
radium
get a
favored
feel for this
by
place.
Elton Britt.
Thank goodness I found Diamond City. It's got its flaws, sure, but it beats the hell out of anywhere else in the Commonwealth. Of course, when I took up there back when, people were just as scared of the Institute as they are now. Maybe more. The massacre of the CPG was still pretty fresh in people's minds at that point, and folks were still losing sleep over the broken mask. Plenty of people assumed I was just a saboteur, moving in to melt down the reactor or poison the drinking water. But at the time, they couldn't exactly turn me away.
Broken mask?
This was long before I'd moved to town, but apparently some gentleman type shows up in Diamond City, heads down to Power Noodles. Guess he didn't like the food because he pulled his pistol and opened fire on the folks enjoying theirs. When security finally put enough holes in him to drop him, they say he was full of servos and sprockets, just like yours truly. Seems he malfunctioned, went berserk. It was the first time people realized that synths had stopped looking like me and started looking like them. Considering what these folks went through, I felt real lucky they let me in the front gate at all.
Massacre of the CPG? What's that?
The Commonwealth Provisional Government. Years back, a group of settlements tried to get together and form a coalition. Every settlement with even a hint of clout sent representatives to try and hash out an agreement. Only the Institute sent a representative of their own, a synth. The man killed every rep at the talks. The Commonwealth Provisional Government was over before it even got off the ground. I took up in town not long after. I was damn lucky they didn't just tell me to scram right then and there.
Why would you want to live among bigots like that?
Now, I couldn't really blame them, given the circumstances. But folks sure started turning the other cheek when I showed up with the mayor's daughter. Gal of about 15. Pride and joy of the mayor back then. Man by the name of Henry Roberts. The young Miss Roberts decided she'd run off with some caravan hand she'd, known for an evening. Turns out the guy was part of a gang of kidnappers. I did. Didn't even know who I was rescuing, just stumbled on a crying girl and 4 toughs. I took her home and the mayor dubbed me a hero, offered me a place in town. Lots of folks protested, said I was a spy, but he wouldn't have it. Taking up in the city was tricky at first, but I never tried to hide what I was, and people seemed to warm to that.
You took down 4 guys by yourself?
Well, I didn't have to. Back then, synths were even more of an unknown quantity than they are today. I told them I was rigged to explode and started going beep, beep, beep. Hardest part of that rescue was keeping from laughing as they climbed over each other to get away.
You're not a spy, right? Testing. Hello. Institute, can you hear me?
Hell if I know. If I am, the Institute's plan to gather intel on all the runaways of the Commonwealth has been going off without a hitch.
Was it hard settling in?
Yeah, they sure didn't make it easy. I started off doing the jobs no one else wanted. I got more banged up being Diamond City's handyman than I ever did living out in the ruins. But I guess folks never forgot I rescued the mayor's daughter, so they started coming to me when people went missing. Wife runs off with a new paramour and takes the rent money with her. Talk to the synth. An upset father decides moving him and the kids to Good Neighbor in the dead of night's not the worst damn idea since the bomb. Go get Nick. After a while, the jobs got so backed up, they didn't even ask me to do the handyman stuff anymore. Hell, I was so happy to do it, it was months before I started charging anyone. I never stopped being Nick the Synth, but it was Nick the Detective folks came to see. It was about then that things finally started feeling normal. It took me a long time to realize that home is where you make it. And with some time and effort, this place can be home for you, too. That's a long story, but I hope it helps. Want to get moving? I think we ought to talk.
What's wrong?
Wrong? Oh, no, nothing's wrong. We've just been traveling a while now, and I figured there hasn't exactly been equitable distribution of information. I've gotten a decent glimpse into your dirty laundry, but you still don't really know a whole heck of a lot about me. I figured I'd offer to balance the board. So, is there anything you want to know?
What's with the outfit?
After I started the agency, it just seemed like the sort of thing a detective ought to wear. I got some old memories, pre-war. Faded to all heck of guys dressed like this, doing what I do. Putting on the hat and trench coat, I figured it'd let folks know I was serious about the whole thing. Clothes make the man and all that. Guess I felt they made me the man I wanted to be.
So who are you, Nick?
That's a question I've been trying to figure out myself for a long damn time. I know I'm a synth, authentic Institute handiwork, but I'm still mechanical, not bioengineered like the fancy synths giving everyone the willies these days. I get tune-ups now instead of checkups. But my memories, my personality, they're all lifted from some cop who volunteered for an experiment back before the war. They scanned his brain and copied it onto the hardware that runs between my ears. Don't know why they chose to make a robot based on some pre-war cop instead of a math genius or a bioengineer. Hey, maybe that's why the Institute tossed me in the garbage instead of turning me into one of their people snatchers.
Wait, the original Nick was from my time?
Sure was. Which meant when I finally ended up out here, it was quite the rude awakening. I remember waking up one day in a garbage heap, a body in tatters and a head full of memories belonging to a man who'd been dead for 200 years. Suffice to say, it was a confusing couple of weeks. Folks didn't really know much about synths back then, so when I finally ran into people, they mostly treated me with caution rather than hostility. But the kids, they weren't afraid. I think his name was Jim. The first person to actually speak to me after I got the boot from the Institute. My first human contact in this world. Grilled me for an hour. Once they'd seen I wasn't going to hurt anyone, the other folks in the neighborhood came out to ogle the mechanical man. It eventually turned into a pretty swell soiree. A local mechanic even gave me a once-over, free of charge. Those people, they treated me like a human being. I've been trying to return the favor ever since. It's a surprisingly rare trait out here sometimes. It's something I've noticed you got a fondness for. Part of the reason I've stuck around this long.
If you're good to people, they'll be good back. That's something I've always believed.
Couldn't agree more. Well, I expect you're about as bored as can be listening to me rattle my skeletons. We should probably head out.
folks, I think by now we're all used to a little weirdness every once in a while. This tidbit really takes the cake. And you gotta believe me when I say, I'm not making this up. There have been reports of, I'm dead serious now, a Chinese submarine seen off the coast, heading out to sea. How long it's been here, and what it's been up to, are anyone's guess, but we should all be thankful.
Terminal should open
it's
this.
apparently on its way out. Like I said, hard to believe. But there you have it, folks, the latest, craziest news from Diamond City Radio. You consider yourself a mighty, mighty man? I know I do. But then, we can't all be Travis Lonely Miles.
What's that?
Got nothing.
Message to Claire Pazinski. Time to start thinking about a vacation. How does 6 weeks in Ireland sound to you? Dublin, Galway Bay, Waterford. Maybe a week in that little bed and breakfast in Kilkenny.
Got it. Hell yeah.
You just heard Free Sun here on Diamond City Radio. Hey folks, time for some news. Though, actually, this time it's more addressing some rumors than anything else. I'm sure many of you have heard tales of the Railroad, a group working to free synths who are trying to escape the Institute. While it's impossible to say for sure, they may actually be out there. If so, makes sense that they're keeping a low profile. It's a dangerous idea and is met by some very mixed reactions around the Commonwealth. I guess if you are out there, good luck not getting caught. Another one from the Inkspots. Here's maybe.
Nice. Heads up.
There's something you need? Whatever you need.